Hi, I'm Jay Thomas and welcome to Jay Thomas Auto. I've got a special treat today. Behind me is a gorgeous 53 GMC truck. Resto modded, it's beautiful, but you can see I'm at Dutch Growers in Saskatoon and we're gonna meet the original owner of this truck and the guy who owns it now, and we'll talk about what he's done to it. But we gotta talk to somebody who was there when it rolled right off the showroom floor and a bit about what he's used it for. So I'd like to welcome Arie and Audrey Vanduyvendyk, the original owners of this 53 GMC here. Come on over, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this video. Yeah. And tell me, this is your truck from years and years ago when you started Dutch Growers, right?
That's right, in 1953.
Okay, so you started the company and then you needed a truck to haul some stuff around.
Well, we came from the old country, and of course in the old country where we come from, there were no cars, nothing. So we came to Canada, and February 53.
Okay.
And well, we started business and we needed a truck.
Yeah.
So we went to Saskatoon Motors.
Okay.
And I talked to the salesman. I said, now listen, I need a truck. He said, oh, that's beautiful. I said, I'll give you one. I said, but there's a condition about it. He said, well, what's that? I said, well, you have to teach me first how to drive the darn thing. And he laughed, you know. So he said, okay. And so he took me around 2nd Avenue, 1st Avenue. After an hour, he said, you can drive.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'll take you to STI, or whatever they call it at that time. And lo and behold, you know, I got my license that same day.
One hour of driving.
1 hour driving. Never in my life had been in the truck.
What color was it when you brought it home?
Green.
It was green.
It was green. And it has also the name on the Dutch Growers.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's where we started, you see.
Of course.
Yes.
And then you've had it around here ever since?
Well, that's all we had. So we had the truck.
Yep.
So we did all our garbage and carrying things.
Yep.
And all that. But we also, in a little spare time we had, we vacationed with it. We put a frame in the back, and we
camped with it.
Camped with it, and slept with it, and cooked with it, and we went even to BC with it.
Wow.
And that was all in the same. That's all we got.
Just one truck, and you did it all with one truck.
All the truck. And
so
in the meantime, of course, we started to get family.
Yeah.
And so between the truck and everything what we had inside, and we had little tents, and we went all over with the lakes and so on. Now, so as the business grew, we get more trucks, and so finally this truck came in the bush. And so of course it was old-fashioned.
Yeah.
And so I think for 50 years it was in the bush. Now Rick grew up.
Yep.
And he liked to have trucks and all that. And he got it in his brains, you know, to take it out of the bush and fix it up. And so that took a long time, and he spent his last dollar on it to get it improved. And so at that time it came out, and of course they changed the color.
Yep.
And bright, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful color the way it is now. Moves a little faster than when you had it, I think, eh?
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, guys, thank you for coming on and joining me. It's a wonderful story. It's amazing that you had your first truck and it's still here in front of Dutch Growers that you built, and that's fantastic, isn't it?
And a beautiful color.
So an incredible story of how Audrey and Arie got this truck, and it served Dutch Growers for many, many years. But as you can see, it's not like it was, you know, back in 1953. There's been a few changes. So the current owner is Audrey and Arie's son, Rick Vanduyvendyk, the owner of Dutch Growers, and we got to get him in here to tell us what this truck is all about. So Rick, come on in here. So this looks a little different than it did in 1953.
Absolutely,
right?
Looks a lot different.
Yeah,
So,
there are some original parts on this truck,
Yep.
right? And there's some stuff that's been swapped out and changed.
exactly, because the original parts in this truck is the cab, the doors,
Yep.
the hood, and the front fenders is original yet.
Now, the box was pretty tortured. I mean, you guys did a lot of work in this truck.
When I was a kid, I used to shovel dirt into the truck and bang my shovel on the box and shovel the dirt out of the box. So yeah, it was pretty banged up, and there's piles of when we used to haul plants out of the fields, and put, we used to pile it up tall and tie it down with ropes, and then we, landscaping, we had wheelbarrows thrown in the back, shovels, everything else. So yeah, no, it was pretty beat up.
It didn't lead a charmed life. It had a pretty difficult life, but
it was a working truck.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So let's take a little walk around this thing and you can tell me all of what you've done to it, okay?
Yeah.
So take us for a little tour of this truck. I mean, it's a 53 GMC. Now, there was lots of Chevs, but there were, you know, you don't see as many GMCs redone.
You don't see any of these 9300 GMCs around.
No.
And the one thing about the GMCs is that they were built in Ontario, and so they were built with real steel. So that's why I think the GMCs actually didn't rust as bad as some of the other Chevs in that. So it actually held together pretty good. And this truck, we'll talk about later, but I mean, it was in a full off fire, a burnt down garage fire, and it still didn't warp the metal in it. So it's quite amazing what it could stand up to. But yeah, it used to have a 6-cylinder in it and 3 in the tree. I learned how to drive this truck when I was 9 years old. So it was interesting how to start, you know, with the starter on the floor and heel on the gas pedal and trying to start it when you're 9 years old, reaching down. It was kind of fun. But yeah, now it's an LS1 5.3 with a Phi-Tech injection in it, and so it's a fun truck to drive. It really is.
I've even had a chance to drive it, and yeah, it'll spin the tires on command.
Yep.
Now, automatic, right? So no more manual.
It's an automatic in here, and also it has a Corvette C4 front suspension.
Right.
And so it has the leaf springs that go from side to side, and so it hugs the road really well. You don't get the lean to it when you turn the corners, and it just hugs the road really nice. And
well, it's a truck on top, but it's really a Corvette almost underneath.
yes, it's a custom frame.
Yep.
By Canadian Hot Rods out of BC. It's a total frame that fits this body, and all the brake lines and electrical lines, everything else is integrated right into the fuel lines, integrated right into the frame. So it is a custom frame to fit this truck.
That's pretty cool. Now, paintwork is spectacular. Tell me about this color. Like, why the orange?
Orange, the reason why, okay, Jay, I was born in 1960.
Now, this truck's older than you.
In 1957, my father painted the whole fleet of trucks orange. So he bought this truck green, but he painted them all orange because when he was out landscaping and doing deliveries in the city, he wanted to be advertising all the time.
Sure.
So I only remember this truck orange. So everybody asked me, why did you paint it orange for? Well, because it always has been orange in my lifetime. So it's got to be orange.
Cool. And the paint work and body work was done?
Yeah, by K&M. The body work was done by Ken Peters, who was the former owner of K&M. And K&M did all the body work, and K&M did the actual painting, and they did an amazing job.
They really did.
A lot of the build together also was Alvin Jansen. He helped me put this all together, and Alvin is an amazing man, that very humble, and the way he puts things together, very proud of the work he does.
And very, very talented.
Yes.
I mean, you can just tell by this thing. You know, I mean, the engine's incredible, Corvette engine, headers, everything you could want on it. And lowered, of course. It sits lowered just because of the frame, right?
Just because of the frame, the way the frame fits, and it's actually just raked just nice for handling and everything else. So it is really a fun truck to drive.
Some American racing wheels on there.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting because...
And those came from Calvin Tire here in Saskatoon as well. So.
Right, yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, there's some details on the box though. For example, those two little rivets there, that's the way they actually came, right?
That's the way they came. It's just basically a piece of metal that holds the fender from bending in. So the rivets were there, and that's how we left it. So
that's pretty cool. Some custom exhaust back here. It looks and sounds real good.
Now this teardrop gas cap over here, Jay, that has a little bit of story to it too. Back when I was 16 years old, I went down near California, near Pismo Beach and that, and I actually was in a little shop and swap.
Yep.
And I found this when I was 16 years old, and I kept it, and we integrated it right into this truck, and it looks perfect.
So it's been hanging around in your garage for years and years.
And years and years.
And you finally made use of it.
Yes.
Pretty cool. The box is beautiful inside.
Yeah, I had the wood was high-grade millwork in Saskatoon. I gave them the plans of how I wanted them made up, and they just milled it. And then my wife and I, we basically varnished them and got them all ready to go to put in the box.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You know, there's so many ways people do these trucks. You know, this one turned out fantastic. Some people really modify them. This one's modified in certain ways and in other ways not, you know. But I love, you know, the lights that went into the roll of the of the edge of the box. That's great. It's just beautiful.
There's also lighting underneath the step side, so when you sort of get the lighting, when you open the door up, the ground lights up as well. And also for the backup lights is an LED strip lighting at the back, which really lights up the back end when you back up as well.
Cool. Okay, now we got to take a peek inside because it gets pretty interesting in here too. So this interior is, again, a cool combination of some modern stuff and some really retro stuff. It's a really great mix.
Yeah, no, it's you can see in there, it's a Flaming River steel steering column.
Yep.
A Budnick Stinger steering wheel in there. A low car shifter in there. Again, I had that one since I was about 20 years old. I had that, and I put it in time. There's vintage air I put into there.
Yes, that's great.
The upholstery was Alvin Jansen. Him and his wife put this together, and they did an awesome job. The seats, I found some seats from, basically it was like a Chevy Avalanche seats.
Yep.
From an 05, I believe it is. And then I had some cat skins covers. They will fit just right over top of them. Braithwaite upholstery here in Saskatoon, they helped me put that all together.
But look, it's even got an orange stripe.
Even got orange in it.
And even the perforations got orange in the leather. So isn't that cool?
And then you can see even the Dutch Growers emblem embroidered into the upholstery as well.
So it's actually comfortable to ride around in too.
Yep. Yeah, it is really good. And of course, Dakota Digital custom.
Oh yeah, we got to go have a look at that.
The custom gauges in there, and they're actually Canadian gauges, not American.
Oh yeah,
ones.
you've got kilometers
so
an hour.
Kilometers and everything on them.
That's right. Now there's another couple tricks. You know, there's your vintage air. It comes out down there because of course there was no heater vents in this thing, right?
Nope.
The heater box would have sat originally underneath the dashboard somewhere.
Right. Took up most of the passenger where the passenger's feet are. Actually.
Yeah, that's would have been the original, but it's modern now. There's a couple other neat tricks that this does. Is you've got power windows put in here.
Yes, I got power windows, and so we took the old cranks, and now you just.
Look at that.
Just use up the old.
You use the crank, but it's a window switch.
I did get rid of the vents to make it a one-piece window, and so it works really well. And there's electric doors too on it. So
yeah, that's right. Right. I mean,
the doors all have electric latches on them, so it
closes.
It closes good, and you press the button. It's just basically it's over electric, so it pops it open.
It pops it open. Isn't that neat? Isn't that cool? You know, I mean, there's some really cool stuff. You got. You know, wipers that actually work. Did this thing even have wipers when it was new?
It had air wipers on it, but
the vacuum operated ones.
Vacuum operated, right?
Yeah.
And then what it also had on it, Jay, is that on this one originally, I was going to get it actually. I haven't found one yet, but actually for your window washers, actually had a little water bottle in a little basket that fits inside the cab, and you basically put your hand out the window and you basically squeeze the water like a water bottle out into the windshield.
That was the washer fluid.
So this one here, we integrated the washers into the frame here, so now they actually has the real type of washers that I don't have to put my hand out the window for.
That's fantastic.
And of course, when I was a kid, when I drove this car, there's not really single lights in this thing. So you used to have to do a little bicycle, you know, put your hand out, hand signals on this truck.
Yep,
and so
that's right.
It was like I said, it was a fun truck to drive, especially with the 3 in the tree.
No kidding. I mean, it's great now, and it's cool because that shifter there, you know, it looks like it could be a manual, but it's just controls for an automatic.
Yep.
You know, it's every detail though is just the cup holders, everything, the chrome pieces. It's just done so perfectly well. Power seats, you know.
Yeah, right down to all the. You remember, this is one of the first trucks I think that had cruise control in it, right, Jay? It had an old throttle lever in it, which actually, when you pulled it out, that was the throttle of it. So that was the old-time cruise control.
That's right.
So
yeah.
I still left those in there this year and on this build here, but they don't function as a cruise control though.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty gorgeous, this thing. It really is pretty beautiful. So Rick, it's all pretty much finished, this truck, right? Like, it's complete.
It's complete.
It's complete.
There's not much more to do in this truck. Not much more I can do in this truck. So it's a great fun truck to drive. And the biggest thing, Jay, is that I wanted to make sure we got it done in basically 2019. That's when we finished the truck, and we wanted to get it ready because then 2019 was our 65th anniversary of both the truck and of Dutch Growers.
Right.
So that's why we wanted to make sure to get it done with you see my parents, you saw them earlier. I mean, they're 91 years old, so I wanted to make sure it got all complete and restored while they were still around.
And where do you want to go with it? I mean, now it's finished, it's ready for the road. Is there any plans to head to, California or take some road trips or things like that?
Well, I know my son wants me to come out to Kelowna where he lives and do a bunch of car shows out there with him. But yeah, it's a truck, Jay. It's not it doesn't just sit in my garage. I drive this truck quite a bit.
Yeah.
In fact, if you probably looked on the front, there's a lot of bugs all splattered all over the front of the truck right now. So so it's a truck that you'll usually see parked out in front of Dutch Growers when I'm here at working, and it's a truck that I drive quite often. So it's just a truck that I put it together to drive, not just to sit in my garage.
Yep, and of course there's going to be nieces and nephews and grandkids and all kinds of stuff that'll be in love with it for years to come,
yes,
right? Yes,
absolutely.
Well, Rick, thanks for the opportunity to come check out this amazing kind of piece of history, family history, and amazing truck here in Saskatoon. Thanks for taking me through it all.
Thanks, Jay. It's a fun truck. It's the whole fun part of it is the whole story of the truck, which makes it even more amazing and more fun that it's actually a one-owner truck, basically one family owner truck.
Absolutely, it's done some hard work, and now it gets to retire and enjoy a pretty charmed retirement life.
Yeah, from 1979 when it was taken out of service with the garden center, and then it was from then on I just slowly started getting out of the bush and restoring it. So here's the finished product.
Fantastic. Well, for more videos like this, go to jthomasauto.ca, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll catch you next time as we check out a next cool car.